Ooh,
Oh, she's there.
yeah.
I am here. Hello,
Trying to clean
everyone.
this up. Let me wipe my glasses real quick. Where do you want me to plug into?
I'll show you in a second.
So are you gonna have an IFB in your ear so you can hear the video that plays?
She's so pretty.
Um, Dr. Alec, can she? I don't know if she can hear me.
Can she hear me? Oh, that's so weird. I don't want her to think I'm a weirdo now. Deep in it. Thank you, Jesus. Okay. 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 It's not about you. It's not about you. It's not about you.
Let me look up. Let me see how it looks. We both have our glasses. We can't hear you as yet, so you know. I don't know if you can hear me, but we're not plugged in yet, so we're just saying hi or this way. I think she can hear me. Look like she's frozen. Hope that doesn't happen too often. I didn't realize we
Or
could.
she's just shocked.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh, perfect.
but
Great.
you froze.
Okay.
Am I not supposed to look at her? Am I supposed to look at that?
You can look at the screen there, and also the camera there.
Okay.
So, and then this, you don't have to put this all the way in here. You can kind of just like lay it on.
I don't rather like this. No, look.
Nice.
It's not going to stay in it unless I loop it because I got a little ear. Or not. Is it? It's going to fall out. Where's my ear?
Yeah. Oh, cool. I'm gonna just put this way behind you. Can you hear? Here. Keith, are you plugging in?
I didn't know where to plug into.
I said I was gonna help you. That's right. See if she can say something.
Dr. Alloway, can you just give me a mic check really quickly, make sure I can hear you since I'm plugged in now?
Oh, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, wonderful, I can. How are you? I haven't
Perfect.
seen you in a while. It's been a couple of years,
I know.
actually.
Yes, I love seeing your posts, and you look
Oh,
fabulous, and nice to meet you too.
thank you.
Nice
So,
to meet
this is Ari. This is Dr. Alloway.
Dr. Alloway.
But yeah,
Hi,
so to let you know, because I told her, Ari, we're going to focus on bipolar disorder and not so much get into specifics. So we're just gonna so you both know we're on the same page with that. Andy's gonna count us down. I guess we're gonna try to hit right at 9:30. We're gonna try to keep this at 30 minutes or so. But I spoke with the both of you about what we'll be going over. This is a disease that not a lot of people want to talk about openly, but we're gonna try to change that with the conversations such as this one, and talk about why it is important to have open conversations and why you should not suffer in silence. So that's really the push for all of this. And this is Ari's first time, by the way, Dr. Alloway, sharing this story publicly. So she's a little nervous, but we're going to get through this together, right?
Yeah, it's very brave of you. I appreciate you being here, Ari.
Thank you.
That last video you sent me, is that just for VO, or I know the first part has sound?
It's sound. Yeah, we want the sound.
And you'll call for that?
Yes,
Oh, no,
yes.
Just heads up before we go in. Are you doing a mirror at all? Are we so I can prep? Okay. I told him I talked to him
You
last
spoke to
night.
him, yeah.
Yeah.
Andy, I can see her cord. It's like hanging.
Oh.
Oh, you see it? Are you able
Yeah.
to? Can you push it to the other side or just a little bit?
Maybe if this one goes.
Do you need my hair over it, maybe? Clearly, I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, that was the way to hold it down.
A little. How's that?
I think that's good, keep that. I mean, it's gonna show a little bit.
Okay, yeah. It was just like hanging all over here.
Okay, either you can go whenever you're ready. You just give me like a 3, 2, 1.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Mental health can be scary and polarizing, and in Ari Singletary's case, it was embarrassing to admit. Her daughter Gabby has bipolar disorder. This is something that she has suffered in silence with for years. That is until now. May we know is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we are here today to try to change the conversation around mental health. We have Ari here as well as Dr. Tracy Alloway. I want to thank you both for joining us today. We do appreciate it. Ari, I do want to begin with you. I want to first start with this. The reason why you have decided to open up today and share your story. Why is that?
I think at first it just started with me wanting everyone to stop asking me about my daughter because I was tired of trying to find something different to say, and I felt like I wasn't being authentic. And then as I went down rabbit holes, I saw other people that were dealing with it, and I just saw that it wasn't talked about. It wasn't dealt with. Like nobody, it's kind of like a hush hush thing. I don't know how to explain it, but more than anything, getting past the embarrassment and hoping if I help one person, then I would feel like, the last 4.5 years will have been worth it.
Yeah. Dr. Alloway, I want to bring you in by asking you this. You mentioned the embarrassment behind this. This is a taboo topic. Let's speak to that, why it is that folks are so afraid to speak openly about either themselves or loved ones having mental health issues.
Yeah, I appreciate you asking that important question. We do know, as you mentioned, that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And it is unfortunate that there's still a lot of negative stigma socially, culturally about expressing mental health needs and bringing that awareness. And so we often downplay symptoms as a result of that. And because we consider mental health as almost an invisible disease on the surface, we don't notice any injury. And so that can further cultivate this sense that, well, if I look fine, then I should be feeling fine. And it can also perpetuate this cycle of shame and guilt in the individual who's experiencing the mental health issues as well.
You mentioned not being able to notice it or see it that someone has these issues. Ari, I want to bring you in with that because I want to talk about when you first started to notice that something was going on with your daughter, Gabby.
I did not get a heads up or spiraling in, and I think that now looking back at it, maybe because as parents we put our kids up on this pedestal, and maybe I just missed a lot. But for me, it was January 14th, 2020. My daughter, when she would go to work, I would always wait until she was like close to the entrance, and I would always sing like a song to embarrass her. And on this particular day, January 14th, 2020, I sang Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You. And it was so loud, and she was so embarrassed, and she was getting in the car with her friend, and she was just like, stop. And so it was ironic because literally that next day, she got off work, she came home, and it has never been the same since then. It was just like lights out. There was no warning. She came home, she wasn't herself. She was just talking erratically, and at first I thought that, okay, she's just trying to get out of being 20 minutes late on curfew. But then the next day came, and then the next day came, and it got worse, and it got worse, and it literally, there was no leading up to it. It was just a lights off situation. It's just one day she just changed.
Dr. Alloway, she mentioned lights off. For those of us who are not familiar with the disease, we're kind of just like, what exactly does that mean? Can you explain it to us?
That's such a great question. And bipolar specifically is a very complex illness, and we can consider it as the onset when it begins. the course and then the duration of the period. And so it's not uncommon, especially in young females, for a trigger event, a stressful event to occur. It can lay dormant as far as the symptoms are concerned. And then you have this explosion, or, as you talked about, Ari, this lights out moment where you can maybe see this come into play during late teenage years to early adulthood. So it could be present, but under the surface until a very specific traumatic event or stressful event even occurs in the individual's life, and that almost unlocks this whole box of symptoms that you've been sharing.
Dr. Alloway, what can we look out for, parents or folks with loved ones who perhaps think maybe my loved one is struggling somehow, I'd like to intervene? What should we be looking out for?
Bipolar is often misdiagnosed. It's one of the illnesses that's most frequently misdiagnosed. And the reason for that is because it's often misdiagnosed as depression or anxiety, because those are the symptoms that show up first. So, as a parent, as a partner, a loved one, a friend, look out for those early signs of maybe depressive symptoms. Is your friend or your partner or your family member, are they showing this kind of slump? They don't feel that same sense of joy for life, that motivation that they usually experience, or maybe a sense of anxiety where they're isolating more. They're not expressing this need to be social to in the same way that they used to. So early signs of depression and anxiety may be indicators of something like bipolar disorder.
Ari, back to you. You mentioned 2020s when you noticed that this light switch, things changing with your daughter. Fast forward now to 2025. Big question is, where is she now?
Truthfully, I don't know. So she had moved up north to be with my mom, and it's very hard to live with someone with a mental health condition. So I would always say I always slept the best when all of my kids were home. But then it got to a place where I did not sleep well when my baby was home. And I didn't know what was happening, and I didn't know where she was. Or went back to school to get my master's, and I'm writing my thesis, and I hear my front door close, and my daughter's gone, and I don't know where she is. And I'm walking through my neighborhood trying to find my child. And so she went up north to be with my mom. And then that got to be too much, and it got to be too much for my mom. And so then she went with her grandma. So she did not, in Minnesota. She didn't resurface for a while, and so I had filled out 2 or 3 missing persons reports. And the day after Christmas 2024, I got a phone call from a police officer and asking me, about her, and she was there. So right now, I do know the state that she's in, but I don't know physically where she is physically. I haven't spoken to her in a while. And I will say, in a homage to my therapist, she told me for years, I always thought that because we were so close, we were inseparable. That was she always called me twin. We were just always together, that surely I would always be her safe space. And she was just like, one day she's going to turn. And she's like, she'll turn on you. And I was just like, not my baby. I watched her turn on everyone, but not me. And then she turned on me and her brother and her stepfather and everyone. And so I don't know. So to answer your question, I really don't know.
You mentioned Gabby's stepfather, her brother. We saw photos. We have pictures of them growing up. Look at this, adorable.
Oh.
I know that is difficult to watch right now. Your babies. What's their relationship like now?
They haven't spoken. They haven't spoken in a while, and it's just kind of weird because I call them Frick and Frack, and they would always argue over, well, which one's Frick and who's Frack? And I'm like, does it matter? And my son, in this chapter of his life that he's in, he never imagined having this chapter without her. They were inseparable. He thought that she would be a part of his life now. And I think that one thing that I had to realize is that it's not just my story. It's his story. It's her father's story. It's her stepfather's story. It's her stepsister's story. It's her grandma's story. It's everyone's story, but I mean, they don't have a relationship. I know he misses her. he misses her a lot. And so he just kind of deals with that on his own.
You mentioned where he is now. We see here he was a standout football player. This was when he was drafted to the NFL. A very, very happy moment for you, your family, your son, obviously. But I know in the back of your mind, beneath all of those smiles, you're likely thinking about Gabby as well. What is that like, trying to juggle and balance that? The happy times with the tears that I'm sure are happening on the inside.
It's hard because it's, on one hand, I feel like I can't be too happy because I have this going on. And like if I'm too happy over here, then I'm being neglectful for what's going on over here. But everything that was happening with my daughter had consumed me in a place to where it was actually his agent that came to me and was just like, look, mama, you know, your son needs you. Because I was always treating Amir like a well-oiled machine. He's never been problematic. He's got the biggest heart you'll ever see. And he's just been easy running. And so because of that, that just let me be there for him physically, but mentally I was always somewhere else. You know, I would tell people, like, on my computer, I've probably got over 80 tabs open, and three of them might be work, and the other 77 are me trying to find ways to fix my baby. So that part's been hard because I don't know how to balance it. Like, I've still, to this day, I feel guilty for the really good days I have. And I feel like I should have more bad days because I know she's might be having a bad day.
Dr. Alloway, I have to bring you in now. We're hearing key words that I'm sure are just, it's heartbreaking to hear from this mother right now. She feels guilt. You know, on one hand, she has a child doing very well, very successful. On the other, she has this baby that she can't quite wrap her arms around. I mean, what do you say to her? Because obviously, besides her children, we have to think about Ari's mental health. What do we say to her at this point in her life?
Yeah, I really appreciate a lot of what you shared today, Ari, and it sounds like she's being very proactive. She shared that she has a therapist that she sees, and so she's also prioritizing her own mental health. And the best thing that you can do, and it sounds like through Gabby's whole life, you have been very present, very loving, very supportive. And I think reminding yourself of that knowledge that you are a parent who was and is continually available for her. And as you mentioned, these are all these other people's stories. It's Gabby's journey right now. It's her mental health journey. And it sounds like you're providing her the space to find her emotional health, but you're also letting her know that you are always her safe space for her. And that ultimately, as a parent, it's the hardest thing to do, but it is also the healthiest thing that we can do for our children.
Dr. Alloway, we know, because you and I have spoken over the years, we've done stories together, millions of Americans are struggling with mental health disorders. They vary, and they can be very complex. Why do you feel it's so important for us to be open about these issues that we're seeing with so many people tackling, again, in silence?
A big part of that is this perceived sense of weakness. Again,